In this video, we're going to talk about something that could truly save your life, the few minutes that make all the difference during a stroke. You see, every 40 seconds, someone in America has one, and most of them happen to people over 60. The truth is, those first 3 minutes after it begins can decide everything, whether you walk again, talk again, or fully recover. But here's the hopeful part: your body gives you small warnings before things turn serious. You might feel dizzy, drop something, or slur a few words, and many people just wait for it to pass. That delay is what we need to stop. Because when you understand what's happening and how to act, you can actually protect your brain while waiting for help to arrive. In this talk, I'll explain what happens inside your brain when a stroke begins, the early warning signs most people miss, and the simple positioning and breathing technique that doctors now call a life-saving window. It doesn't replace medical care, but it can buy you precious time. And time, in this case, truly means life. Before we start, I'd love to know, where are you watching from today? Just drop your state or city in the comments below. And if you have any natural health tips of your own, feel free to share those too. Someone else might really benefit from hearing what's worked for you. Point 1: Understanding the real danger behind a stroke. A stroke doesn't always come suddenly like a lightning strike. Sometimes it begins quietly, with just a few strange seconds that don't feel quite right. Maybe your hand feels weak, your words don't sound clear, or you lose balance for a moment. Many older adults think, "I just stood up too fast," or "I'll sit down and it'll pass." But those few seconds could be your body's way of warning you, something serious is happening in the brain. A stroke occurs when blood can't reach a part of the brain. Without oxygen, brain cells start dying within minutes. That's why doctors often say, time is brain. Every second matters. The first few minutes decide whether you'll walk again, speak clearly again, or even recover fully. But here's the hopeful side: the body gives you a brief chance to act before real damage begins. It's what doctors call the golden window, usually the first 3 minutes. In those moments, your goal isn't to panic, it's to respond. Recognizing the signs early gives you control. You don't need medical tools or special training. You just need awareness and calm. That's what this whole conversation is about, knowing what's happening inside your body so you can help yourself before help arrives. Point 2: Recognizing the early warning signs. Most people imagine a stroke as a sudden collapse: a person falls, loses consciousness, and can't speak. But that's not always how it happens. For many older adults, it begins quietly, with a small, strange feeling that doesn't seem serious. You might notice your hand feels heavy or weak. Maybe your face tingles or droops slightly on one side. Sometimes your words come out wrong, not because you're confused, but because your mouth won't move the way it should. These little moments are your body's alarm bells, what doctors call the loudest whisper. The danger is that many people ignore these signals. They think, it's just fatigue, or I'll sit down for a bit. But in truth, your brain is fighting for blood flow at that very second. A clot might be forming or blocking a small artery, cutting off oxygen. And the brain doesn't wait. Cells start to die within minutes. That's why doctors say, when you notice a sign, the clock has already started. If you ever feel sudden weakness, confusion, dizziness, or vision changes, even if it lasts just a minute, treat it as an emergency. Don't wait to see if it gets better. The sooner you act, the better your chances of recovery. Remember the acronym FAST: face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty, time to call 911. Point 3: What happens inside the brain during a stroke. To really understand how to respond, it helps to know what's going on inside your brain when a stroke begins. Think of your brain as a busy city. Every thought, every movement, every word you speak is powered by tiny, electric lines, made of blood vessels. These vessels carry oxygen and nutrients that keep everything running smoothly. Now imagine that one of those lines suddenly gets blocked by a clot. Instantly, the lights in that part of the city start to flicker or go dark. That's what a stroke is, a sudden loss of blood flow to part of your brain. In those early moments, brain cells begin to struggle. Without oxygen, they can't survive for long, and every passing second means more cells are at risk. But here's the important part: in the very beginning, the brain tries to protect itself. It redirects blood from nearby areas, like deterring traffic after a road closes. That's the window, the few precious minutes when action can still make a huge difference. Sometimes, the blockage is only partial or temporary, which causes what doctors call a mini-stroke or TIA, transient ischemic attack. The symptoms might last just a minute or two and then disappear, making people think they're fine. But that moment isn't harmless. It's a clear warning that a bigger event could be coming soon. Point 4. The life-saving, blood shift, technique. Now let's talk about what you can actually do in those first critical moments. Most people panic when something feels wrong, and panic makes everything worse. It raises your heart rate, tightens your chest, and uses up oxygen your brain desperately needs. But the good news is, this technique isn't a cure, and it doesn't replace emergency care. You still need to call 911 immediately. But it can buy you precious time, keeping blood and oxygen flowing until paramedics arrive. Remember this simple truth: when blood hesitates, don't panic. Lie back, lift your legs, and breathe. Those 3 steps can mean the difference between minutes of damage and months of recovery. Point 5. Why seniors delay getting help. One of the most dangerous habits among older adults isn't physical, it's emotional. Many people delay calling for help during a stroke because they've been strong their entire lives. You've faced pain, loss, and hard work before, and you've learned to handle it quietly. So when your speech slurs for a few seconds or your arm feels weak, it's easy to say, "I'll wait a bit. It'll pass." That quiet toughness, which served you so well in life, can become dangerous when seconds matter. Doctors see this every day. People arrive at the hospital too late, not because they didn't feel the signs, but because they didn't want to make a fuss or worry anyone. It's a habit from another time, when calling for help was only for real emergencies. But with stroke, every minute is a real emergency. The earlier the action, the better the outcome. The truth is, no doctor will ever blame you for calling too soon. We only regret when people waited too long. So if you ever feel sudden weakness, dizziness, or slurred speech, don't try to be strong. Real strength isn't pretending you're fine, it's knowing when to act. Pick up the phone, call 911, and let professionals take over. Point 6. How to train your body and mind to react quickly. Knowing what to do in an emergency is powerful, but being able to do it calmly is what truly saves lives. When a stroke begins, panic is your biggest enemy. Your body tenses, your breathing speeds up, and your mind starts to race. That's why doctors now encourage something called a response rehearsal. Think of it like a fire drill, but for your health. You're teaching your body what to do automatically if those early signs appear. Here's how you can practice it safely at home. Sit down in a chair and imagine the first signal. Maybe your hand feels weak or your vision blurs. Don't panic. Take a slow breath and remind yourself of the steps. Lie flat, raise your legs, breathe slowly, and call for help. Repeat this exercise once or twice a month. You're not just pretending, you're building what doctors call muscle memory. When real stress hits, your body will remember what to do before fear takes over. This kind of gentle training helps your brain, too. It teaches your nervous system that calm equals safety. Your breathing slows, your heart rate steadies, and oxygen keeps flowing. You'll be surprised how confident you start to feel knowing you have a plan. Point 7. Rebuilding the brain after a stroke. If a stroke has already happened, please know this: it doesn't have to be the end of your independence or your happiness. The human brain is far more adaptable than most people realize. It has what doctors call neuroplasticity, the ability to form new pathways and reroute signals around damaged areas. Imagine a city where one road is closed, and traffic finds another route. That's exactly what your brain can do when given the right support and patience. Recovery starts with small, consistent actions. Gentle movements, slow breathing, and guided physical therapy can reawaken connections. Even imagining movement, like thinking about lifting your hand, sends tiny signals that tell your brain, reconnect this circuit. It may take time, but every signal matters. The key isn't doing a lot at once, it's doing a little every day. Recent studies from Japan and Harvard have shown that seniors who practiced slow rhythmic exercises, even while seated, doubled their chances of regaining balance, coordination, and memory compared to those who stayed inactive. Your body listens when you move it with intention. Even 5 minutes of effort is better than none. But recovery isn't only physical, it's emotional too. Many stroke survivors feel discouraged at first. They see what's lost instead of what's possible. That's why you must remind yourself daily, healing is not a race. It's a partnership between your patience and your body's wisdom. Celebrate the small wins, every word you say clearly, every steady step, every breath of progress. Because recovery, at any age, is not about miracles, it's about the quiet courage to keep trying. Point 8. Daily habits that protect your brain. The best time to fight a stroke is before it ever happens. Every day, the choices you make can strengthen your circulation, lower your blood pressure, and protect your brain. And the truth is, prevention doesn't have to be complicated or exhausting. It's about small, consistent habits that keep your blood flowing freely and your mind sharp. Start with your mornings, because that's when most strokes tend to occur. When you first wake up, don't jump out of bed right away. Sit up slowly, take 3 deep breaths, and move your legs gently, flex your ankles, lift your heels, pump your calves for a minute. Doctors call this a morning circulation reset. It helps your blood pressure adjust safely and gets oxygen flowing to the brain before you even stand. Next, keep your body hydrated. A glass of water before coffee may sound simple, but it thins your blood and supports circulation. Dehydration is sneaky and common among seniors, and even mild dehydration can make blood thicker and harder to move through your arteries. Nutrition also plays a huge role. Eat foods that support healthy vessels, salmon, leafy greens, berries, beets, and a small piece of dark chocolate now and then. These foods naturally improve blood flow and protect your arteries from hardening. Finally, remember that emotional calm is medicine, too. Chronic stress tightens your blood vessels. Laughter, sunlight, prayer, or even quiet gratitude can help them relax again. Every moment you spend at peace adds strength to your heart and clarity to your mind. Point 9. Keeping the mind calm in moments of crisis. When something frightening happens, like sudden dizziness or slurred speech, the first reaction for most people is panic. Your heart races, your breathing becomes shallow, and fear takes control. But panic does something dangerous, it steals oxygen from your brain right when you need it most. That's why learning how to stay calm isn't. Point 10. The mindset of readiness and prevention. Now that you understand the warning signs, the technique, and the habits that protect your brain, let's talk about the mindset that ties it all together, readiness. Most people think that being ready means living in fear, always worrying about what might go wrong. But that's not true at all. Real readiness is calm. It's quiet confidence. It's knowing what to do before the moment comes, so you don't have to panic when it does. Being ready means trusting that your body isn't your enemy, it's your messenger. When you notice dizziness, slurred words, or weakness, that's not your body breaking down. It's your body communicating. It's asking for help. The strongest thing you can do is listen and act. Once you start thinking this way, fear loses its power. Because now you have a plan, and plans bring peace. Doctors who work with stroke patients often say that the calmest people recover best. That's because they take quick, clear action without wasting time on denial or confusion. They've learned that health isn't about avoiding every crisis, it's about responding well when one arrives. And that's something completely within your control. So, from now on, make this your rule: if something feels off, don't wait, don't guess, and don't apologize for asking for help. You are not overreacting. You are taking ownership of your health. Readiness doesn't make you weak, it makes you strong. It means you understand that your life, your voice, and your independence are worth protecting, every single day. So, my friend, what you've just learned might be one of the most important lessons you ever hear about your health. Because a stroke doesn't always shout, it whispers. And those whispers are your body's way of saying, "Help me now." The truth is, you already have the power to act in those moments. You don't need special tools or training, just awareness, calm, and a little bit of courage. Remember what we talked about: panic wastes oxygen, calm preserves it. You've spent a lifetime taking care of others, now it's time to use that same strength for yourself. When blood hesitates, don't panic. Breathe. Stay low. Let gravity help you. That single thought could save your life or the life of someone you love. Before you go, I'd like to hear from you. Have you ever experienced a moment that made you realize how important quick action is? Type yes in the comments if this message opened your eyes to something new. It helps others see that awareness matters, and it might even save a life. Stay aware, stay steady, and remember, your body always gives you a chance to fight back. All you need is the calm to listen.